Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Brian's Horror Corner, and welcome to this Masters of Horror Season 1 episode review video as part of my current February 2024 series, where I'm taking a look at all 13 episodes from the first season of Masters of Horror on this DVD collection here. So, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at the 11th episode of the first season, and that is Pick Me Up, is the name of this episode. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it. Pick Me Up is the 11th episode of the first season of Masters of Horror. It originally aired in North America on January 20th, 2006. It was based on the short story by David Shaw. The episode was the final project directed by Larry Cohen before his death in 2019. So basically, it opens on a two-lane highway. Two serial killers clash in a turf war. One named Wheeler, who kills hitchhikers he picks up in his truck, and the other is named Walker, who is a hitchhiker who murders whoever gives him a ride. Stacia is a recently divorced woman who falls in between the battle of wits. After a transport bus breaks down, Wheeler and Walker kill the driver and passengers, save for Stacia, who left previously. Fascinated, Wheeler and Walker examine each other's victims. Wheeler murders a woman who hangs her body in the truck and pistol whips and decapitates a man with the sliding door of the luggage compartment. Walker garrotes the bus driver with a dead snake, chokes. It says garrotes. I don't know what the Walker basically chokes the bus driver with a dead snake, shoots a passenger, leaves another passenger to die, tied tied by her wrist to a tree and wrapped in barbed wire. Slaughters a punk and partially skins his girlfriend before killing her. So that's sort of the setup and the premise for Pick Me Up, the 11th episode from season 1 of Masters of Horror. As far as the cast goes, we have Fairuza Balk as Stacia, Michael Moriarty as Jim Wheeler, Warren Cole as Walker, Lorraine Landon as Birdie, Malcolm Kennard as Danny, and Tom Pickett as the bus driver. So yeah, that's the setup and the premise, the cast for the 11th episode, Pick Me Up from season 1 of Masters of Horror. Um, this episode's okay. I don't like it as much as some other people seem to. Um, it's okay. I'll get into my reasons why it's just okay. This is going to be a shorter review. I don't have too much to say about this episode, honestly. But as always, let's start with the things that I liked about the episode. So, first thing I do like the idea, the premise of these two psychopath killers crossing paths in the same area and kind of having this turf war contest to see who can outdo who, basically, who can outkill who. I thought it made for an interesting premise, and it has a lot of black humor involved in it. So that was obviously the hook for this episode, and I thought that was very interesting. I like the overall setting of where the story takes place on the highway in the middle of nowhere, sleazy roadside motel. It adds to the overall story and the horror of it, even though there's not a lot of scary horror in this episode. But as I've said in other past reviews, I just like that sort of setting, that outdoors highway kind of horror in the middle of nowhere, and that's present here. I do like the twist ending where the two psychopath killers are kind of outdone by another set of killers. It kind of came out of nowhere a little bit. I thought that was set up fairly well. And it worked for this particular episode because of the way the episode plays out. I thought that twist worked fairly well given the black humor and Larry Cohen's sort of style that he tended to direct movies and episodes with. And then finally, I did like the strangulation kill with the dead snake. I thought that was very inventive and fun. It was a kind of a cool looking kill where he takes this dead snake and literally chokes one of the characters, the bus driver in this case, with it. With a strangulation. So yeah, those are my pros for Pick Me Up. As far as cons go, I wasn't really into these characters, any of them. I found them to be unbelievable. Not just the two killers, but even Fairuza Balk's character, who quite frankly is really sidelined in this episode and is just kind of a side character. I felt that she was kind of wasted in this episode. We don't really know much about her, and I don't really think she's written all that strongly because of it. So, yeah, that was the biggest thing that really stuck out to me. Just the characters. I couldn't really get behind them. There isn't a lot of blood or gore in this episode, very little nudity. It's all kind of in one scene where there's this punk, as they call him in the script, this punk that one of the killers, Wheeler, ends up killing his girlfriend. He basically like skins alive and cuts chunks of her out, and she's naked, laying on the bed, at least topless, and so that's where all your blood, your gore, and your nudity is. So for those of you looking for that, where other episodes have more of it, this episode doesn't have as much. It's yeah, the kills basically it's a lot of cutaways or off-screen kills for the most part. The tone of this episode also overall was kind of off, I thought, at least for me it was. I'm not sure if they were going for more of the light, playful tones or a serious kind of playing it straight tone because they kind of went both ways throughout this episode. And I don't think they ever really landed their plane on what direction they wanted to go with the tone. So that was something that sort of stood out to me in a negative way, frankly. Well, there's clearly black humor in this episode. It's not really played throughout the episode consistently enough for it to just be, oh, this is a horror comedy kind of episode, because at other times they're playing it really straight too, and yeah, it just doesn't balance out well. At least it didn't for me. um I never really felt like I knew what I was supposed to feel throughout the episode. There isn't really anything particularly scary or horrific in this episode, much more of a tongue in cheek, wink, wink kind of episode. And again, going into the tone, it just doesn't really work overall for what they were going for. I think there was a really good idea and premise here. I just don't think the execution I just don't think it was executed all that well, frankly. And then finally, I felt like some of the scenes were fillers. Like they went on a little bit longer than they needed to. Not as much happening for the most part for a lot of this episode. I felt like it could have been a better short, and it might have worked a little bit better if it had been. So yeah, like I said, I don't have too much to say about Pick Me Up, episode 11 from the first season of Masters of Horror. I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. I think it's fine. It's not horrible, but it's certainly not one of my favorites either from the season. So 6.5 out of 10 for Pick Me Up. Go ahead and comment down below what you guys thought of this episode. Did you like it more than I do? Less? Why not? I'd be curious to hear. Please like this video, hit the little notification bell down below so you don't miss any of my upcoming reviews for this series. And please be sure to subscribe to my channel as well so you don't miss any of my great horror content, not only the rest of this series, but what I have coming out the rest of the year, frankly, is planned out. So, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this review and you're enjoying this review series. Thank you for watching, and as always, stay scared. Bye.